Hello everyone, this is Adeilah from Jigsaw Organizing Solutions, helping you to live more minimally and sustainably. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about food waste. Food waste is something that happens all over the globe, but there are some small things that you can do in your own home to try and prevent your own food waste. So I mentioned this in a video that I did last week about staying organized and how it can help you be more sustainable. So a couple things to take away from that is creating a list before you go grocery shopping can be a really great way to reduce your food waste because it keeps you on track of what you're wanting to purchase. But before you even make a list, I would definitely recommend going through your cupboards and taking an inventory of what you have in there. There might be some things that have been kind of stuffed in the back of your cupboard for, maybe months, maybe years. I was in a client's home once and there was canned goods that had expired in 1995. So, maybe take a check to see what you have going on in your cupboards. So when you're going through these items, if you do find things that are expired, take stock of what those items are because it's probably something that you either don't like eating or you don't even remember buying, so maybe someone gave them to you. And just take a mental note to not buy those things again because if you're letting them expire, then that is something that you probably don't enjoy eating. Also, when you're taking this inventory, you want to see and make sure that the things that are expiring earlier, that they are at the front of your cupboard so that you use them up first before the things that are expiring later on. That way you don't have food waste and things that are kind of constantly getting stuffed to the back when you get new items. One thing I really like to do with produce especially is just every few days I will go through my fridge and just kind of check to make sure everything is still fresh and good to eat. If there's things that are starting to go, maybe a little bit wilty, or maybe they're starting to get like soft spots on them like tomatoes or apples, then what I'll do is I will actually, if I know that I'm not going to be eating those items either that day or the next day, I will actually cut them up and freeze them. That way they're kind of preserved in the state that they are in their most ripest. And that way you're not going to be just kind of keep passing over that tomato or that apple and then having it sit in the fridge and start rotting in there, which unfortunately happens a lot. Yeah, the freezer is definitely your best friend. There are so many things that you can save in the freezer. I keep my bread in the freezer all the time because I don't keep my bread in plastic bags. I keep it in a cloth bag. So I'll actually keep it in the freezer. And actually it doesn't take long for bread to thaw out. It usually only takes like maybe 10 or 20 minutes for like slices individually. And that can be a great way to reduce your food waste. If you find that your bread is molding before you get a chance to use it, then definitely freeze your bread. Another way to help prevent food waste is to buy smaller portions of things. A lot of the times people will kind of get drawn into deals, buy 3, get 1 free, or 50% off this. But if it's something that you're not going to be eating in that large of a quantity, it's not like you wouldn't actually be saving money by getting that because you're going to be throwing it out anyway. Unless you're getting that really great deal and then maybe you're freezing those items. But if there's something that you don't really like eating and you just want to try it out, definitely don't go for the buy 3, get 1 free. Because oftentimes it's older stock that companies are trying to get rid of or things that aren't that popular, and so it's not really the best deal for you in a lot of cases. There are some ways that you can give your food items an extra life. I really love to save my food scraps. If it's like cleaned produce like celery or onion skins, garlic, little bits of skin, what else do I put in there? Tomatoes, the inside of peppers with all the seeds, pretty much anything really. Mushroom peels, I will put those in a bag in my freezer, just a plastic bag that I've had for probably years to be honest. And I will actually save all those scraps. And then when I need vegetable broth, you just put them all in a pot with water, and then you just let that simmer on low for, I think I usually do it for maybe like 4 or 5 hours, basically until the broth gets a nice like rich color. And then you can save that broth for if you're wanting to make soups or different sauces. And it's great, and it's free, which is amazing. And you're using up those produce scraps, kind of giving them an extra life. And that way you're not just throwing everything in the compost. Hopefully the compost, not the garbage. I like to freeze my vegetable broth. I'm not a very good canner. I haven't been shown very well how to can stuff and actually have the seals work well. So I will actually freeze my vegetable broth. I'll pour it into mason jars and then I'll actually let it freeze in the in the freezer, but without the lid on, that way the glass doesn't crack. And you want to make sure that you're leaving probably about this much space in the top of the jar, so that if not more than that, so that when it expands, it's not going to crack the glass and make a huge mess in your freezer. So if you are freezing stuff, just kind of maybe look up some tips on how to do it properly. That way you don't create a huge mess. And having to thaw something in a broken glass jar doesn't really work so well. What I really like doing, and what I've just recently gotten into, is trying to regrow stuff from vegetable scraps. And now I'm not an expert at this by any means, and I've had to look up a lot of articles on it, but I have tried to grow celery from the base. I've also tried to grow avocados from the pit. I don't think it'll actually grow an avocado, it might just make the plant that won't bear fruit, but that's cool too, I love plants. What else have I tried to make? I have green onions going from just the stems. Those grow incredibly well. And I also have some basil that I'm growing from seed. So this is my basil here. It's actually just in a mason jar. And what I've done is I put some rocks at the bottom, and then I filled it with soil, and then I put in the basil seeds. And then I was able to just basically keep watering it, keep monitoring it, and then finally it's growing. And I'm pretty excited about this because basil is a delicious additive to lots of different dishes. And you don't need fancy pots or anything like that. You can just grow it right in a mason jar, which mason jars you can get for really cheap at thrift stores for 25 cents. You don't even need a lid for it. It's great. Over here, I have some green onions. Basically what I did is you have the end of the green onion here, and I just cut off whatever portion of the green onion I wanted to do, and then stuck the end in water, and now it's growing these beautiful roots, which is amazing, and then it keeps growing stalks. This has been probably a couple weeks of growth, and I've actually cut from this before to include in a dish. So this is something that just keeps regrowing and giving you green onions. So I don't think I'll have to buy green onions for a while, or ever again maybe. Over here I have my celery, and this is actually my second attempt at making celery. The first time I tried it, it got kind of moldy and gross, and it did not grow to this extent. It maybe had like a little nub like this. But I'm pretty excited about this. This is, I think it's a few weeks of growth, and yeah, I'm not sure how long it's going to take for this to actually grow into something that will be edible, like stalks of celery. And I'm honestly not sure if I have to do some more research to figure out at what point do I put it in soil. But hey, it's a learning process, and it's pretty cool just to see things growing. And you can even see the roots here at the bottom of the celery. Here I have 2 avocado pits. Now I'm not sure how well these are going to do. The one has started to split, and the other one is just kind of chilling. But they're basically just in glasses of water, so that the bottom is submerged in the water. And you basically just get a couple of toothpicks just to prop it up on the glass so it's not completely submerged in the water. And then yeah, we're gonna see how this goes. I've also tried doing avocados before and it did not work well, but my brother-in-law has had success with it. So I'm hopeful if I have 2 going at the same time, maybe one of them will actually work. And yeah, those are just a few of the veggies that I'm trying to regrow from scraps. There are a lot of different other options of what you can regrow. I've heard you can do mushrooms by chopping off or ripping off the top little cap, and you can stick the stem in the soil. I think you can regrow kale by getting the base of it and sticking it in water until roots grow. Peppers you can regrow from seeds, same with tomatoes. So yeah, do some research online. I'm definitely not an expert on this because I'm just kind of trying it out for my own personal growth. Pun. Yeah, there's lots of different resources online where you can see how people are regrowing stuff from food scraps. And please leave in the comment section below if you have any tips on how you grow some food scraps into produce that you can actually eat. Because this is a great way that you can see the effort that goes into produce, and it makes you appreciate it more, and I think it reduces a bunch of food waste. Because, you know, now I don't have to buy any green onions, I'm just going to keep regrowing them here. I think a really huge way that we can help reduce our own food waste is just to be more aware of the amount of effort that goes into creating food. You know, I've been now waiting 3 weeks for this celery to grow. It is, you know, very small still, very tiny stalks. And you know, it's probably going to take a month for that to grow into anything sort of remotely edible. And just think how many stalks of celery we buy, taking it for granted, and how much effort farmers put into creating food for us to eat. And the amount of food that gets wasted every year, it's just brutal. The amount of effort that goes in, and then it just sits in our fridge, and then we end up throwing it out. So I think just being aware of how you consume things, how much you're buying, and what you're wasting is a really important step into reducing your food waste and being just more conscious and more eco-friendly. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comments section below, and please like and subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.